Welcome to the Speaking Light into Abortion podcast, where I talk about all the reasons it's possible for you to thrive after your abortion. I'm your host, Amanda Kingsley, and 2 years after my own abortion, I certified as a life coach, so I could serve women after abortion in all the ways they've been deserving and lacking for centuries. Consider this your launchpad for finding strength and community in yourselves and in each other.
If you listen to episode 16 with Emily Davis, you know that our conversation started with her personal experience with abortion after being in an abusive relationship, well, during her abusive relationship. And that one of the gifts that came from her being led to leave that relationship was a reconnection with her spiritual work and her energy work and what she calls her magic. And after I finished recording that episode with her, I asked her if she might be open to doing a reading, a recorded reading for me of my baby, and tuning into who I believe to be baby Grace. And she thought about it for a little bit and decided that she was interested. So this bonus episode is a recording of the reading that she did for me, for my baby, and some beautiful stuff. So I'm excited for you to listen. I wanted to share this as a way for you to understand what was possible. If you decided to have a reading like this done with Emily or someone like her, it might be different. But here's an example of what it can look and feel like to connect with that energy. And I think sometimes these things can be like moving into the unknown like that can feel a little scary. And I hope that sharing this with you takes some of that away and maybe interests you in making those connections. And you can make them yourself, or you can make them with a medium like Emily. So enjoy, and please feel free to reach out, of course, anytime.
The way that I do these typically, just so you know, is, and I think I talked about a little bit on your show too, of like my method for doing any sort of like mediumship read, which is this basically falls under a mediumship read where I'm contacting,
Totally.
like a past loved one. I create the space within, my own safe zone, basically in my energy, and I ask for them to step forward. Most of the time they do. Sometimes a different guide will step forward and be like, they're not ready to step forward, or they don't want to, or here's a message that they need to hear instead, or something along those lines. And then sometimes they'll come forward and be like, listen, like, I'm not ready to talk, or whatever. So there's a whole array of different things that can happen. But I always just let people know right up front, like, that's how it kind of works, because like they're their own beings too. So I can't be like, you come here,
talk to me.
Right, you must chat. But most of the time they do. So just like a brief overview of kind of how it works. And I tune in very, very, it's very much a conversation style thing. And usually they don't want to talk for a ton of time. So realistically, the call may take like 15 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not a lot of time because there's usually not a ton of things to say. There's impart some wisdom, some love, and kind of move from there. Cool. Sound good?
I'm so in.
Yay. Okay. So I always start every reading that I do with just doing a really brief energy clearing. So I'm just going to close my eyes and just clear both of our energetic spaces so that we just have no energy intruding anything anywhere near anything that we're doing.
I actually put like a clearing stone on my lap. Is that going to mess with you?
Oh, not at all.
Okay.
No, not at all. That's good. I'm glad that you did that, because that's always, it's good to just have everything about your space just clear and open and receptive.
Yeah, it's been like a bit of a crazy week. So I was like, okay, how can I try and clear my energy before?
Right? For you and everybody else. I feel like this week people have just like had weird, like very desperate attitudes and like crazy things going on.
Yeah.
And I actually just edited, we do moonisodes on the podcast. So on the full moon and on the new moon, we release like a little
moonisodes. Oh my God. Cute.
Yeah. And so we just I was just editing our full moon one for tomorrow. And it's all about like people's wounded pride coming up. And like all of their wounded ego stuff is like coming up to release over this week. And I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense.
Wow. Okay. That's really eye-opening.
Yeah. So you're not alone.
All right. Back to clearing. I'll let you do your work because you know what you're
Okay.
doing. I'm just
okay.
nervous
so I'm just,
and
you're good.
hanging over here.
Okay, so I'm going to close my eyes and just do some deep breaths so you can deep breathe along with me, and we'll just clear. It doesn't take very long. So here we go. Okay. All right. So now that our space is a little more clear, I also put up some nice boundaries around us so that it's good. I'm going to just tune in and ask for your lovely daughter to step forward and talk with us.
She might not be a daughter from your perspective. She's a daughter from mine, so we'll
All right.
see.
Already I can feel her energy. It's very much
Okay.
a female presence for sure. Even when you were talking about it last time when we were recording, I could feel her energy for sure. She's definitely a girl or, has a very strong female energy.
Yeah.
So let's see. Um, So she stepped forward very much immediately, and was very excited to do so. Like she was like immediately like super bubbly, like, yay, she's talking to me like this. Like she talks to me all the time, but I finally get to talk back. Like that kind of like feeling of like bubbliness. Um, she loves that you call her Grace. That makes her really, really happy. That she feels really connected to you through the name, which is beautiful. And it's cute. It's cute because she was immediately like, she better not feel bad about any of this. And I was kind of like, okay, like, what do you mean feel bad? And she's like, she needs no guilt. Like, there's no guilt at all. Like, everything that was going to happen was supposed to happen this way. And that both of you decided on this before you physically came to this lifetime. So this was an agreement that you guys
So wild. That gave me chills. So I know that that is very much true.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Ugh, that's so crazy.
She said that you were really concerned that she wasn't going to show up.
I was. Oh my God, I totally was.
Yeah, she was really concerned I wasn't going to show up, but I show up every day. Like, of course I was going to talk now.
I know, it's so crazy how like I feel that so much, but I still was like, well, maybe she won't show up and maybe she won't be a girl. Like maybe I'm totally wrong.
No, you're dead on. You're 100% correct. And you like intuitively knew that she was a girl because you guys already like had a bond before this, which was really, really cool. And she is very, very sweet and very like I see her as like her full energy. It's not like just a kid energy, like usually they come through in like the kid energy first, but like her full energy, she's really sweet, has like an artistic kind of presence, so like a lot of creativity comes to you from her, which is really interesting. So like a lot of those really good ideas that you have that come up and stuff, she's like a lot of the fuel behind that and like guiding you in that way, and connecting to you in that way. And she's super big on making sure that you understand that like there's no bad feelings or anything along those lines. Like she's really concerned about anything that you've ever thought negatively about yourself, about anything that happened with you and her, like the abortion, anything like that, but also just like about yourself in general. She's very concerned about like your self-esteem and like what you think about yourself, and to like remind yourself on a daily basis like how powerful and beautiful you are, and how she feels really blessed to be a part of your life, which is really, really cool. Yeah, she's like very clear on that too. And your kids, she apologized that your kids give you a hard time, which I think is really cute. She's like, sorry for all those times they don't listen. As if she was like part of in that like
good kid.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm sorry for those ones. Right. Which is really, really cute. Do you have specific questions you want to ask her? Because she's very open to that.
No, I mean, I'm super curious about this idea of a book, if she has any insight to that. Like, this book keeps coming and going and coming and going, and like, I don't know if I'm supposed to just wait for it to pour out or just let it happening the way it's like, I don't know if she has any thoughts about this book.
So the first thing she said, right as you said the book, she goes, oh, the book. And she said that right now you have years around writing the book. that need to be addressed, that you're not, that you haven't thought of yet. That's like the big she said that you need to overcome those fears first, and then it'll feel a lot more aligned and smooth. She said you already know what it's going to be about, though. Like you know what it's about, and your idea is correct. Like that's what it should be about. And she said, if you sat down to write it, you would.
So true.
That was the first thing she said. She's like, if she sat down and wrote it to write it, she would. But you will do it in the right time. It feels like there's a timing thing with it where it's going to feel really right. And that was like her insight too, is like, it's going to feel right when it's right. But there is some fear still staying in the way of like, I don't think it's writing, but she's like, she just needs to go through those fears and overcome those fears. And she said that it's okay to be visible. That was like really clear.
Okay, because that was the next question I was going to ask you.
About what?
Well, I have fears sometimes that visibility is not safety. Like,
okay.
So
yeah.
if I was trying to, when we got cut off, I said, I have another question. And it, so maybe she already answered it.
Yeah.
But if there's more like, like sometimes I worry that like getting visible is going to mean being vulnerable in a way that's not safe.
Yeah. And that's basically exactly what she was addressing while we were waiting for this to load, which is super funny.
Right on it.
Yeah, no, she was dead on it. She immediately said like, it's okay to be visible and you will be safe being visible. The people that see you and hear you are going to be the people that need to. And the other ones aren't going to care, and they're not going to pay attention. Like you're going to speak to the people that need to hear it. Just like what you're doing now, but on a grander scale. Like your message needs to be out there. She's really, she said this a couple times now, as I've talked, is just that like you're the only person who can do what you're here to do. And just to remember that, especially when you're being afraid of the visibility, is like you're the only person that has this mission, and you're the only person that can do it in the way that you're going to. And she's really supportive that way. She also is sending like a lot of love towards your husband. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna
cry. Yeah, a lot of love there too. And she's very intimately connected to you. Like you guys had this agreement, but she's like very, very like she deeply cares about him too, and is so proud of like your partnership and like that sort of feelings, if that can make sense. It's hard because I see a lot of the things they tell me, I see in images, and then I have to like describe how it feels. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a lot of, she just wants to send love and caring, and even though he's not as active talking to her and knowing her as you are, like she's still connected to him and has a relationship with him too. Yeah, which is really sweet. Yeah, very good.
She might be done, but like any thoughts on her siblings?
On her siblings?
Yeah, well, you did already share something, but like anything?
She just, so they have like a camaraderie. She says she checks on them, like at nighttime, like the way that you do, and like as they sleep. Do you check on them before you go to bed?
Him I do, not the girls so much, but
okay. Yeah. Which is interesting that you said that, because she showed me a boy, so it's interesting that when she said I check on them, and then she just showed me a boy, so I wonder if she does the same thing. I'm only checking him, but she checks in on all of them, very, very actively and very regularly, and she like participates, if that makes sense. Like she's at the events that you're at, and like she's still involved in that way. Her she says that it might get a little bumpy, like going through teenage years is what I'm feeling, is like there's going to be some bumpiness coming, but that it's really, they're wonderful people and it's going to be okay. And she said that a couple times, like it's going to be okay.
She felt the week. Well, she was probably here the whole time.
Yeah, no, she definitely was. And that's, I think, when she apologized at the beginning of like, sorry, it was rough. Like, sorry, they're being rough. I'm here. I'm not being rough, kind of thing, which is really funny. But it's going to be okay, is what she keeps saying. And they're going to do good things, and they're going to have a really strong relationship with each other.
Whoa.
Yeah. Later.
I say that in emphasis for highs, but it kind of is.
It's okay. I feel that about my kids sometimes too. I'm like, guys, you guys are 13 months apart. Like all three of them are 13 months apart. I'm like, how can you not get along? Like you were the same age. But no, she said that they're gonna have a really like tight bond later on. You know, outside of in like their 20s and stuff, they're really gonna develop like a really good bond with each other. In a lot of ways, and they all feel, from what I like she's showing me and everything feels really stable around all of them in that period of time too. Like not a lot of like crazy tumultuous stuff, just like really stable, happy, healthy, good lives. Mm-hmm. And she's very actively there, and she knows all of them very well. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask another question? I guess you have to ask her.
No, she just laughed. She goes, yeah.
It's like you ask me every day. Why would you?
She's like, yes. Yeah, what's up?
So sometimes I think about the miscarriage between the two girls, and like it doesn't feel the same as with her. Like it just feels like, and sometimes then I wonder, was that baby my son? Like also, and like so I don't know what my question is exactly, but if there's anything to share about that.
It's interesting. She said there's no soul connected to the miscarriage right now, which makes me think, like from my intuitive experience, that yeah, it was most likely your son, that because the soul isn't connected to that, if that makes sense. So like he jumped to the next one. But there's and I can't even channel that. Like there's no energy resident left over there. So I would say that more likely than not, yes. Because there isn't a soul connected to that anymore.
Yeah, I like just kind of clicked for me recently. I always wondered sort of, but it kind of clicked for me recently. And yeah, interesting. Because if I get in my head about it, I get a little bit like, why am I so attached to this baby and not that baby? But it like, there's just like, I agree with that. Like, there's nothing there to attach to. Like,
yeah. No, there's no energy signature. Like there's really like, it's almost like a nothing where, you know, like there's no energy, there's no consciousness, like anything along those lines. And I do think it was most likely because the energy disconnected and came back to you.
Well, knowing his energy, I think it's very like he's and she can agree with me or not, but like he's very like indecisive. Like he's in and then he's out, and then he's in and then he's out, and so like it makes sense to me that kind of like I don't know, it just fits his personality that he would like come in and then be like, yeah, and then come back.
She giggled. She's laughing. She's like, yeah. Yeah, no, but I definitely think that it's most likely was just your son's soul that was like connected for a second and was like, yeah, and then connected again.
Yeah.
Ah.
I don't have any other questions. I mean, I am sometimes curious about like the business and like doing doing coaching work around abortion. Like, is that what I'm supposed to do, or am I supposed to do more like the being a voice, writing the book, hosting the podcast? Like,
interesting. She just said you will heal people in all sorts of ways.
Okay.
And I honestly, what she kind of showed me is kind of like an opening up path, like as in it like kind of funnels outward, you know, like you're like right now at the starting point of this like path that's going to just keep growing wider. But she's really clear on like you are meant to heal people, you are good at this, and like it is aligned and right for you for sure. And however that looks is going to unfold for you, but it's going to be in multiple different ways, in a lot of different ways. And people need you, like for sure. She's very active. Like people need you. They need to hear what you have to say. They need to know that there's a connection to this, that things are going to be okay.
Such good stuff.
She also said that if you ever feel like you need a sign from her, she'll send you sun.
Oh my gosh, I almost just asked you that question.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. She just said that, yeah, she'll send you suns, like little, like an actual, like, pictures of the sun. Not like the physical picture, but like a drawing of a sun, or like that sunlight, like the brightness of that, like that's what she keeps showing me. So it's something to do with like maybe even sunflowers. But yeah, she'll send you those whenever you need a sign from her. Oh no, man, are you there?
I'm here. No, I'm
Okay,
writing. I'm totally
okay. I was like, oh no, did I lose you
I know,
again?
'cause we cut the video, you can't tell. No, I'm
Right.
totally here. Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Okay.
All right.
And she also was just like, never doubt that I'm listening when you're talking.
Hmm.
And then she just like sent you so much loving energy.
Does she, because we are sharing this with the community, which I assume she wouldn't have come for if she didn't want to be a part of, does
Right.
she have anything to share with like the listeners who get to listen to this reading?
Um, she just said, don't be afraid to talk to your babies.
Yeah.
Um, and also she was really big on trust your gut. Like if you like trust your gut and don't doubt that you made the right choice. Like that's what she keeps saying, that like everything is like we agree on these, we set out in this life knowing what's coming our way, and we accept that when we set out in it. And so she's really important on like making sure that the listeners know and understand that like don't feel guilty, don't feel bad, like the choices that you made were the right choices for you at the time, and we all support that, is what she said.
Mm. We all.
Yeah, she also said just really clearly at the like kind of like a closing comment, I think, is like you get to have a personal relationship even if I'm like we're not physically there.
Well, I believe that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
so amazing. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. She really loves you, which is really sweet, and it's really nice to get to channel such a beautiful connection.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh,
I
that was
really
good.
love her. It's been eye-opening.
Yeah, it's good. It's all, yeah, she knows all of it, which is really nice. And she just is always with you guys like all the time.
Oh.
Like she showed me pictures of like the dining room table, and she's like there, and like in the living room, and she's like there, and like at like a baseball game, and she's like there, and like it's cute.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cute. Awesome. Thank you so much, both of you. Sometimes I
You're
get like
very welcome.
I totally believe it all, and then I still get like, am I just like, have I just lost my mind? Like, this is crazy.
I totally understand that. I ask myself that sometimes too, and I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
And it's not just channeling this sort of stuff, but other stuff will come through, and I'm like, am I just nuts? And then it'll be right, or I'll, it'll be like other information. I'm like, never mind. No, I'm not. I'm just doubting myself.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's all good. So to end them, I just kind of do an energy clearing again, and just like wash us basically with like love from creator or source or whatever you call it, that like energetic light, just to kind of close it off, and send everyone who came through on their way with love, and then you on your way with love too. So yeah, I'll hold on one sec. Okay, here you go. Ta-da.
So appreciated. And I think, sometimes it can be scary to think about doing something like this. And I think that sharing it is going to be really like make it less scary for people. So I really want to thank you for that piece of it.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely so deeply happy to help, and
Yeah.
happy to get to like, I don't know, it's really cool to get to be able to like help people heal and work through things in this way. So I'm happy that it can remove some of the stigma of the scariness of stuff from this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well,
Until we talk again.
until we talk again, let me know if you have any questions or anything too. If later on tonight you're like, oh, by the way, like I meant to ask this or whatever, just
Okay.
shoot me a message.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I just want to say thank you one more time to Emily and to Baby Grace. This was so much fun for me, and even just re-listening to the recording as I was editing, I heard things that I literally didn't hear the first time. So that was really fun for me, and I'm sure I will listen again and hear new things. So pretty awesome stuff. If you are interested in having a reading like this done, there's a link in the show notes, but please do reach out to Emily Davis. And her website is damsel in, oh darn, here we go. Damselnomore.com, DAMSELNOMORE.com. Or you can reach out to me if you're having trouble finding her. But this is really healing, powerful work. So if you have had some curiosity about it and feel like you're ready, and Emily feels like a good fit, absolutely reach out to her. If not, there's lots of other people who did this work, and whatever it looks like for you to connect with your baby or not is the right thing. All right, until our next episode.
Thanks for listening, and as always, please consider sharing, rating, and reviewing this podcast as your contribution to the abortion-positive women's health movement. You can learn more about my coaching services and book a free call to get started at amandastarkingsley.com. Until we connect, I'll be rooting for you and believing in you and the amazing life that's possible after your abortion.